So last month I did a video asking, is gear from 20 years ago still good? Got a lot of people waxing poetic about their first modeler, my first modeler, the Pod XT. I'm not one for sequels, but let's have a little fun and go back a little further. Is gear from 40 years ago still good? Yes, the answer is yes, obviously. But the reason may surprise you. Okay, so you know when someone likely older than you goes, back in my day, music was better. It's because human beings have a tendency to forget things that are shit. Most of what the human population remembers from the 80s is great. We call it rosy retrospection or positive memory bias. As time passes, we only tend to remember the good stuff. I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. It's the same thing. Close your eyes, think of a band that you loved from back in your childhood, Limp Bizkit. But nobody remembers B44. Those guys were so tanned. It's the same as vintage gear. If it's still around now from 40 years ago plus, it's probably worth keeping around. If it was bad, it probably would have ended up in a landfill. I love plugging into gear like this every once in a while because it helps me write better music. Literally. Let's talk about it. Bing, bang, boom. So both this thing and I came out in 1987, which means we're both pushing 40, and that's the scariest thing I've ever admitted in my entire life. Gah. This is the ADA MP1. It's one of those pieces that I have that I'm lucky enough to have, that when I post a picture of it online or someone comes over and sees what I got, people just have this visceral, like, gimme that reaction. It's really iconic. And that's because a ton of players have used one over the years. Metallica, Jason Becker, Nuno Betancourt. You can even find Nuno's settings on the internet. What a crazy place that internet is. And my hero played one, Paul Gilbert, on the Racer X days, and I think even onward, he used an ADA MP1 and his tone's dope. Prove me wrong. What is it? The ADA MP1 is a MIDI tube preamp, and it's meant to be kind of like a Marshall level of distortion and up. And they say it can do Fender clean sounds, but I've never heard a clean sound good out of this thing, but that's okay. It's okay to be good at one thing and not the other. That's okay, that's life. And I double love it because it has chorus built in. And I don't know if you know much about me, but I love chorus, and chorus is the best. Back in the 80s, rotary encoders that you see on most things, which is just like a pot, but it's digitally controlled, those were really expensive back in the 80s, and I don't even know when they were invented, but they were probably invented not long before or after the 80s. You had a lot of products that had these membrane buttons. There's some iconic synths out there that had this type of buttons, but I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You hit the edit button, you pick a parameter, and you go upsies and downsies. Wow, crazy, huh? It actually has two overdrive gain stages. The first one is like the high harmonics of distortion, and the second one is like your fuller harmonics. So you can kind of get an interesting mix between the two. So if I hit edit and I go into overdrive 1, I can increase the high harmonic overdrive, which is kind of like the tighter overdrive sound. And then if I go into overdrive 2 and then crank this baby up, now this is a Marshall style circuit, so it actually takes overdrive pedals really well. I really like an SD1 in front of it, and I've been experimenting with this rat cologne at my feet that I'll show a picture of it right now from a very nice gentleman in Winnipeg that makes a very cool rat cologne that tickles my nostalgia with the old textbooks. Click that puppy on. So that's a bit much. So let's turn the overdrive 2 down. It's a sweet little sound. So these were super popular to mod for more gain, less noise maybe. It's got this inscription scratched on the top, which is either the mod type or some sort of satanic cult worship. But if you know what the letters mean, let me know. By the way, Waza tube amp expander. So if you don't know what the Waza tube amp expander is, it's a attenuation device. You plug your tube amp into it, and it loads down the amplifier to a line level, and then it puts it through its power amp, and that's how you get the volume back from your amp you attenuated down. But one of the kind of like secret functions of the Waza tube amp expander is that you can plug directly into the power amp of the Waza tube amp expander, so I don't need to have a rack power amp or anything like that specifically to run the AD-MP1. It's just fun to have a little power amp at my disposal that sounds great. And in this particular case today, we're running out of the Waza tube amp expander directly to the interface via XLR. So you're hearing the impulse responses from the Waza tube amp expander. It's a very long word to say, Waza tube amp expander, but if you practice lots, you'll get it. Go for the shred stick! By the way, these are the DiMarzio PAF master pickups. They are spicy meatballs. Okay, so let's boost the bass up a little bit here. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that. Bring in I've said this many times before, but like different gear totally like ekes different play styles from you. It's just so fascinating how much of an effect it has on the way you play. Like it's impossible to turn this on for me and not like. So there you have it. Can gear from 40 years ago sound good? Yes. Yes, it can. And here's the point of the whole video. If you're having a writer's block, it's easier to get some sort of output if you have some parameters at your disposal that you need to stick to. It's kind of like a drawing prompt. If you're told to draw whatever you want, you might have a vision in your head, but man, you might not. If you get told to draw a platypus riding a snake, you have parameters to start from. And if you're struggling to write something, give yourself parameters as well. I want to write an 80s ballad track in the style of Def Leppard. If you're struggling to write a song, those parameters will give you something to start from. So many iconic songs started as an homage to an aesthetic that the writer liked. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Your homework is to go be creative and write a song. Write a ballad. Find these gems to eke out some inspiration from you and give yourself a writing prompt. Write some music. Have some fun. And thanks for watching. God, I can't believe people watch this. I really appreciate it. So keep doing it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.